The Democratic Republic of the Congo is well along the path to East African Community accession. What follows is an economic profile on this soon-to-be member of the East African Community. The East African Community, or the EAC, is a regional intergovernmental organization. EAC membership includes Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. The EAC Treaty outlines the EAC ambitions to build a free trade area, a customs union, a common market, an economic union, and a political union. The Democratic Republic of Congo is the latest applicant to the East African Community. On 17th January 2022, the Democratic Republic of Congo, or the DRC, reiterated its interest and willingness to join the EAC. At that time, all indications were that the EAC and the DRC were well into the negotiation process of accession. Although the Secretariat has yet to release a communique on the same, the East African reported on Thursday, February 10th, 2022, that the East African Community Council had approved the Democratic Republic of Congo's admission into the East African Community. The Democratic Republic of Congo now awaits the approval of the East African Community Summit, the East African Community's highest body. The integration process will follow the approval of this body. What can we say about the East African Community Treaty and East African Community membership? The East African Community has not published an official document detailing the accession process. Rather, the principles of accessions are laid out in the East African Community's founding treaty. Chapter 2 of the East African Community Treaty elaborates the principles on which the community is established and then managed. Article 3 in Chapter 2 details the principles of membership. Article 3, Clause 1 defines the Republic of Kenya, the Republic of Uganda, and the United Republic of Tanzania as the founding members of the East African Community. Article 3, Clause 2 grants partner states the right to engage and negotiate with any foreign country that signals a desire to accede to or associate with the community. Article 3, Clause 1, A through F then stipulate the general requirements for a foreign country that is applied for membership. The treaty places specific responsibilities on both future and present members. Firstly, the treaty requires that future members accept the structure of the East African Community as is defined by the treaty. To round out this prescription, the treaty also obliges present members to commit to refraining from altering the requirements for future members as prescribed by the treaty. Additionally, all members are expected to preside over countries that meet certain social, economic, and humanitarian principles. Firstly, the states must institute social and political systems that respect human rights, social justice, and good governance, and that are in line with good democratic practice. These nations must also be of a profile that will contribute to the strengthening of the integration process and the region as a whole. Finally, a future member country must share a border with a present member country. What then are the steps in the accession process? Accession begins when future member countries indicate an interest and willingness to join the East African Community. Aspiring members indicate their future interest by making a formal application. The highest organ of the East African Community responds to the application by sending a verification team. This team is charged with assessing the applicant country's institutional and political capacity, compatibility, and readiness to participate in the East African Community. The report also identifies challenges, gaps, strengths, and weaknesses of the aspirant. Should the highest East African Community body find that the applicant meets the basic requirements for accession, the details of the verification report will form the basis of the rounds of negotiation that precede membership. As an example, the East African community is already implementing a customs union and a common market. Customs union laws require that national customs laws are repealed and East African treaty customs laws are adopted in their stead. The parties to the negotiation will also have to secure the commitments of various stakeholders. Importantly, aspirant countries signal through communiques their willingness to adhere to East African Treaty principles and a promise that these principles will not be altered. At the conclusion of the rounds of negotiations, the instruments of ratification are signed and delivered, and the aspiring country is made a member of the East African Community. Chapter 1: Geography, Demography, and Migration Profile of the Democratic Republic of Congo citizens in the East African region. Now, in this chapter, we want to explore what the demography and the geography and the migration profile of Democratic Republic of Congo citizens into the East African region has looked like over the years. We want to have a look at the country size of the Democratic Republic of Congo, have a look at populations, see what we can draw from population data, and then have a look also at the patterns of distressed migration. We want to understand how the Democratic Republic of Congo changed the East African community area size. We want to ask, how does the Democratic Republic of Congo change the East African community population profile? How do the population growth rates of these countries compare? And finally, what are the patterns of movement of the Democratic Republic of Congo's forcibly displaced peoples? The first question, how could the Democratic Republic of Congo change the East African community's geographic area? Now, the American Central Intelligence Agency's World Factbook reports that the East African community is 2.48 million square kilometers in area. The entry of the Democratic Republic of Congo and its 2.3 million square kilometers will result in a near doubling of the East African community area size, with 77,810 square kilometers of water. The Democratic Republic of Congo will have almost 40% of the East African community's water bodies. Importantly, the CIA does not report the total area size of South Sudan's water. Kenya and Tanzania will have 12% and 20% of the regional land area, respectively. Globally, the Democratic Republic of Congo has the 11th largest landmass. If the East African community were a country, its landmass would be the 10th largest. With the addition of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the East African community landmass will be the 7th largest in the world. Presently, the East Africa community relies only on Kenya and Tanzanian ports on the Indian Ocean. The entry of the Democratic Republic of Congo into this regional community will give the region access to both the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean within one economically integrated bloc. Now, how could the Democratic Republic of Congo change the East African community's population profile? Well, according to World Bank data, the population of the world in the year 2020 was 7.762 billion. That institution reported that by the year 2020, the Democratic Republic of Congo had a population of 89.56 million. In that same year, the East African community had a population of 195 million. The entry of the Republic of Congo would increase the population to 1.46 times its current size. The resulting configuration would leave the Democratic Republic of Congo with 33% share of East Africa's population. If the East African community population was represented by 100 people, 33 of those people will come from the Congo. Now, The sub-Saharan African region has a 15% share of the global population. That is, if the world was a village, one of 100 people, 15 people of that global village would come from the sub-Saharan African region. The East African community at its pre-DRC configuration had a 17% share of the sub-Saharan African region's population. The accession of the Congo will see the EAC share of the sub-Saharan region grow to 25%. Were the EAC to transform into a federal state overnight, that state's population would be nearly comparable to that of the United States. President Farmajo's Somalia and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's Ethiopia have both signaled their interest in joining the East African community. Were both nations to join the EAC, that regional bloc's share of sub-Saharan Africa's population would be 37%. With or without Ethiopia and Somalia, the entry of the Congo into the EAC will have significant effects on the population size of that regional bloc. The region's population will outnumber France and Germany. China and India each take up just about 18% of the global population. The EAC with Congo will have to grow 6 times the current size in order to be just as large. But on the whole, the entry of the Congo into the East Africa community will significantly increase the population size of this regional bloc. How do East Africa community population growth rates compare? Now, the chart in front of us illustrates that the population growth rates of the Congo, Rwanda, Somalia, and Kenya in the period since 1960. Kenya's average population growth rate of 3.20% has been the highest in the region. The DRC's average growth rate of 2.9% was greater only than that of South Sudan. Between the years 2016 and 2020, Uganda's 5-year average population growth rate of 3.6% was the highest in the region. The DRC's 5-year average population growth rate of 3.2% was the second highest in the region. At 2.35%, Kenya's average population growth rate in the last 5 years was the lowest in the region. The chart illustrates that Rwanda, Somalia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo experience fluctuation in their population growth rates. Kenya's growth rates, as graphed here, are quite stable. The selection of countries have relatively volatile political and economic histories. And though this chart alone does not imply a relationship between political, social, and economic upheaval and population growth rates, it is at least clear that some countries have experienced less stable population growth rates than others. On the whole, however, the Democratic Republic of Congo's forcibly displaced peoples. Now, the chart in front of us illustrates final destinations within the Horn of Africa region of refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo under the United Nations High Commission for Refugees mandate. The United Nations Refugee Agency estimates that since 1961, 62.3 million people from the Congo have been victims of forced migration. Of this figure, 14.9 million have sought asylum under the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees mandate. That same agency reports that another 45.7 million were victims of internal displacement in the Congo. Since 1961, 10.57 million Congolese from the Democratic Republic of Congo have found asylum in Horn of Africa nations. In that period, 7 in every 10 of these distressed migrants moved to Tanzania. 17% settled in Rwanda. Kenya and Ethiopia took in about 2% or about 1,200 each. Burundi took in 2,554 migrants. This number was a little larger than the populations taken in by both Kenya and Ethiopia. One explanation for these patterns is the fact that the Democratic Republic of Congo shares very large borders with Burundi, Tanzania, and Rwanda. Tanzania is also a much larger country than both Rwanda and Burundi. Though of significant geographic areas, Kenya and Ethiopia do not share any borders with the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, the chart in front of us illustrates the evolution in the exodus of Democratic Republic of Congo's distressed migrants under the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Since 1964, the population of the Democratic Republic of Congo refugees under that High Commissioner for Refugees mandate has increased 14.7 times. Between 1998 and 2020, the rate of refugee migration has also increased fivefold. In 2021 alone, the High Commissioner for Refugees counted 864,510 refugees under its Democratic Republic of Congo mandate, and 2 million refugees under its Afghanistan mandate, and 7,000 under its Kenyan mandate, and 61 under its Canadian mandate. That just shows how and gives us a place for the Democratic Republic of Congo's performance by this indicator. What it tells us is that that nation has been counting a lot of refugees and that the recent years have also not been too kind. I'll put together, if the change in High Commissioner for Refugees Congo's mandate is a bellwether for the Congo's overall refugee situation, the change illustrated in the chart could be representative of a dramatic deterioration in the factors that drive this kind of emigration from the Congo. Now, the next chart in front of us illustrates the evolution of internally displaced persons in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees reports that in the year 2021 alone, the Congo generated 5,094,000 internally displaced persons. This number is a dramatic increase from the 3,000 internally displaced persons that were registered in the year 2000. The data concerning this group of migrants of distress does not go back further than this given year. In that same year, this United Nations agency did not report any number of internally displaced persons of concern in Kenya. Relative to Kenya, the rate of Congo's internal displacement has been accelerating in recent years. This can be taken as a signal of internal social instability, but this data alone does not tell us what is driving this instability. Now, in conclusion, since its independence, the Democratic Republic of Congo has experienced episodes of considerable socio-political turmoil. Instability beyond the city of Kinshasa has also been a source of perennial migration. Reflecting this tumultuous history, the data shows that residents of the Democratic Republic of Congo are experiencing pressures that have necessitated internal displacement and migration under duress. The data also shows that for a number of decades, the East African community has been a reliable refuge for many who have fled the Democratic Republic of Congo. This seems to imply that with or without accession, the East African region has been and will continue to be a stabilizing force for the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is possible that the East African community effect on Democratic Republic of Congo's stability could improve with the Congo's accession. Finally, the DRC will have such considerable effect on the East African community's geographic area that were it to be a federation, the East African community would be the 7th largest country in the world.